I believe we're on, John.
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
What's up, everybody?
Morning.
Morning. I didn't get off work till late last night, so I slept like shit. I'm running on fumes and coffee.
Coffee's the important part.
Yeah, for sure. Had to get up early and get my daughter off to school. No sleep last night. You know how it is. It snowballs, and about 2 o'clock this afternoon, I'm gonna be begging for a fucking nap. Especially with all this stupid snow. It's just saying, stay inside and don't do shit.
I'm a grandpa officially as of 7 a.m. this morning.
Hell yeah. Well, congratulations.
Yeah.
That's big. That's a big step.
It's huge.
Hell yeah. Well, embrace that shit. You know what I mean?
I'll probably get called the old man, which I'm cool with.
That's all that matters, man. Like, I'm Opa. That's my grandkid's name for me.
Morning,
Opa.
Christy.
Good morning.
I almost just texted her back out of natural habit. Morning.
Yep. So, yeah, congratulations on that, man. That's a big step.
Yeah.
Yeah, shit, man. I was
Carter Michael.
I was 41 when my daughter had her first kid. So I've been a grandpa for a while, man, and she's done it 4 more times. I got 4 grandkids now. And let me tell you, man, it gets better every fucking time. So the first one's fucking awesome. Enjoy that shit. But
Thank you.
they get better every time they have them. You're like, fuck yeah. Because that's just more. I get to bring them over and spoil the shit out of them and send them home jacked up on sugar.
Oh, wow.
But, so other than that, how was your week, man?
Good, man. Yeah, it was basic. I have pretty basic weeks. You know, I just enjoy big shit happens.
Right.
Yeah, man. It was a good week. Quiet, uneventful.
Yeah. That's good. When you get to my age, especially your age, you're right behind me. You know what I mean? Like, it's uneventful is good.
Joni was sick. The baby was sick.
Yeah. So
she just got over her surgery and then she got a stomach bug.
so you probably just been driving back and forth to work all week. So
that's probably why I just get called the old. I'm such an old man. All I do is go to work and come home.
But you know, hey, we spend a lot of money on this house. I do too. I like being in my house because if it wasn't so fucking expensive, then it'd be different. But
right.
You know, I mean, I spend a lot of money to maintain the house and to keep it comfortable and shit. So I like to spend time there.
Yeah.
And you know, it kind of bring a whole new meaning to the liberal term safe space.
What I spend on my trailer,
like,
I could have had a fucking yacht in 1983.
I mean, that's not really fair. You know what I mean? What I've spent on drugs and alcohol in my 20s and 30s, I could
buy a yacht.
I could have bought 2 yachts today. not like big yachts, but I could buy 2. Maybe bass boat.
At least a sailboat.
Maybe a bass. Yes. Maybe not a yacht. I mean, I'm not like the Tony Montana of drug use or anything.
So where you want to start this week, Christy? Well, it's been a pretty interesting week on the news.
It has.
It hasn't been dead. It hasn't been
I mean,
quiet.
well, the thing is, you know, you kind of start to use the news in the same way you use Wikipedia. You know what I mean? Like, if you see an idea or something, cool, let's go look at it and research it. You know what I mean? So the news has been eventful, but I heard a story and this week about the way Putin is handling this war that he's launched against Ukraine. You know what I mean? And I shared it with you this morning. It's a TikTok. It's a Joe Rogan podcast. I don't remember the exact number or nothing like that, but he's having a conversation, and this guy's laying it all down. You know what I mean? Putin, the Russian people, the Russian army itself, the way he laid it down is the Russian army's not that technologically advanced compared to other armies around the world.
No.
So the Russian army uses manpower, and they have a history in every war they've ever been in that before they ever think about retreating, they'll lose 500,000 people, 500,000 soldiers. They're willing to do that. Afghanistan, World War II, World War One.
Yeah, that's why you
but,
fear Russia. They come like zombies. They.
But he laid it out like that's what is caused the future collapse. Like Russia, if you look at the stats, Russia is going to be a dead country in about 50 years. And the way he lays this down is like the biggest majority of the population of Russia is in its 40s and 50s. You know, they don't have a lot of 20, 30 teenagers in Russia. And the part of that is because of the way they've done things. You know, in World War One, they lost hundreds of thousands of fighting age men, like young men. And no different in Afghanistan. When they invaded Afghanistan, they've lost hundreds of thousands of young fighting age men. And now, right now, there's a story, I'll have to look it up because I didn't bother double checking it, but there's a story floating around out there that the Norwegian army is known for their nursing and their medical side of things. So the Norwegian army has a unit in Ukraine dealing with the medical side of things. And they say there's 180,000 dead Russian soldiers in Ukrainian soil right now. 180,000 right now. And this war's been going on for a year. But everybody says that Russia's winning, Russia's winning, Russia's winning. But how do you lose 180,000 men in a year and you're supposed to be winning this war? They're not winning.
Oh no.
They're
And I got real bad news for him.
But here's where he goes on to say that Russia basically knows better. All this rhetoric that you're talking about, Russia using nukes, this is all a unconfirmed story from the media. Like there's no actual statements from Putin that says we will use these weapons if backed into a corner. All you hear is stories from trusted sources.
He did say once, me and Joni watched it with me. He did say once, and this is back when this Ukraine thing first started. He said, "You lay a finger on Crimea." What did he say? He said, if you lay, he was like, you're in Ukraine. If you lay a finger on Crimea, because that's my shit, that is Russian territory.
That's not though.
Yeah, but he thinks it is. He said the consequences will be fucking historic.
Right.
He didn't say I'll nuke you, but he.
Right. But check this out though. This is the part where that TikTok I shared with you this morning, you got to watch it from beginning to end. It's 13 minutes long. You got to watch it from beginning to end, but like I had to pick bits and pieces out of it so I could at least talk about it right now.
Right.
But this is where he says, okay, so here's the four scenarios that Russia uses nukes. Okay? There's only one scenario where Russia uses nukes in Ukraine. Only one. And that's if Ukrainian forces invade Russian territory. Okay? That's the only scenario that makes sense in a perfectly defensive position. Because why would you nuke a territory that you're trying to take over.
Right.
Well, that doesn't
Right,
make any
no.
fucking sense.
No.
So, there's
You're
one
right.
scenario where he's going to nuke Ukraine. All right? He's not going to nuke Poland or Germany or anything like that because of the NATO response. He doesn't want NATO forces in his country. So why would he do that? Because that strike on any NATO country automatically includes a NATO invasion
Right.
led by the U.S.
Right.
He doesn't want foreign forces on his soil. So why would he do that? He knows that leads to invasion. All right. The third scenario is a direct strike on the U.S. And yes, Russia can and does have the capabilities to launch a nuclear strike on U.S. soil.
All of us, yeah.
But here's the key. Here's the key. Yes, he can do that. Russia also knows, Vladimir Putin especially knows, yes, he can nuke the United States, he can send a couple missiles over, but he knows that we have the capabilities to put a nuclear warhead in your bedroom window. A direct strike on your motherfucking house. You think we don't know where you sleep at night, bro? Like, our government is so powerful and so, like,
Oh, yeah.
everybody wants to talk about Putin doing this, that, and the third, but people don't understand that
America
real,
will queue up.
dude, we don't have any intentions to put a nuclear strike on your cities and to kill hundreds of millions of people anymore. No. We're going to put one of those flying ninja swords on
Right.
a fucking missile right in your fucking bedroom window. And, like, specifically kill you. So none of these scenarios make sense for Russia to use a nuclear weapon. None of them. You know, there is no strategic use. So that's why I believe this whole talk about all this nuclear shit is media made. And it's just for a news story. There's really very little facts behind it. Because any world leader, if they're backed into a corner and they have the capabilities, are gonna fucking launch every weapon they have. That's their job, to protect
Right.
their homeland.
Right.
You know what I mean? This clip right here is Timcast. It's like 30 minutes long, but the story I wanted to talk about was like in the first 4 minutes. So whenever you get to that, it's just the very, very first few minutes of it, and then you can stop it. But yeah, dude, that
I'll just let it play.
so that scenario where Russia
I can't unmute it from here. Let me try this. Let me try this. See, I'm still in. Oh, turn that down. Alright.
Yep.
But I'm telling you, man, I got bad news for I got bad news for the first time we decide that we're going to send those Abrams across the border to see, my thing is my map where I can work with the where is my properties map for up here? This is my question.
Yeah, this is not something I have an answer for. I'm technologically stupid. Like I can make it work, but this is way beyond my level. Well,
I
while
should be
you're
able
trying to get that going.
Yeah, keep
so,
talking.
What was you said something about Pelosi being called in to testify?
Pelosi, yeah, they called her in. They want her to testify about her knowledge of the events on January 6th.
I mean, at the end of the day, she was responsible for Capitol security. She had all the purse strings. You know, I mean, so
oh yeah,
I think everybody needs to be questioned that had anything to do with that. Not every member of Congress. You know, some of them were just in there doing their fucking job.
That's true. That's true. But
if you're in a position of authority on that day, you need to be questioned.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right.
Because if the way I hear it is, Donald Trump asked for National Guard 2-3 days beforehand, and she turned it down. So
yeah.
you know, and it was because I guess the way it was worded. Because Donald Trump asked for National Guard protection for his supporters, not for the Capitol or anything like that, for his supporters. So that's probably why it was turned down. But in hindsight, that was probably a stupid move.
Well, I don't think I think it was planned. I don't think she wanted the National Guard support. I think she wanted Timmy to open the door for Ray out there so that these people could come pour in. I think she had FBI agents. I am accusing officially that she had FBI agents and Antifa members and such, people of that ideology, on the ground, breaking windows out of the Capitol. The poor girl they shot was shot while beating people who were coming in the window. If you watch the footage,
that's true.
She was trying to keep people out the Capitol.
I didn't see the footage, but there's another Joe Rogan podcast, or no, Tim Pool podcast I was watching the other day. I need to start saving these links when I watch them, because this dude was 10 feet from Ashley Babbitt. He was there.
Yeah.
He watched her. She jumped up in that window and was kicking protesters back and was shot in the face. Well, in the shoulder, like right here by her neck area.
Yeah.
Where she was shot.
They wanted those people in the Capitol. No police died, yet they've accused police of dying about 9 times. I mean, this is some bullshit.
Well, there was a couple of them that died, but not
from January 6th.
January 6th. I mean,
and you still can't tell me dude with the rebel flag ain't the same cop they brought into Congress to question.
They definitely look the same. I mean, when it comes to something that serious, though, you gotta have to
really prove it. The perfect lines in his gray, the perfect beautiful gray lines in his beard. Like, I mean, come on, man.
We don't have the ability to prove it that far, you know. But yeah, they look very similar.
I just want to see like Kennedy come up off the stand and walk down next to that man with a phone and be like, "Is this you?"
But the thing is, dude, we had this brief discussion last week.
I want to see you and this man in the same room at the same time.
Osama bin Laden didn't hate us because we were free. You know, we talked about this last week.
Yeah.
You know what I mean, he hated us because we kill people that we shouldn't be killing. As the United States government, we some shady motherfuckers.
We are so shady motherfuckers.
But with that being said, if we think for 1 second that the CIA and the FBI will do some shady shit in Afghanistan or in wherever the fuck USA or wherever the fuck in the world they are, well, damn it, I just damn F-bombs get me every time.
It's all right, keep going. Ran on.
But wherever they are, they won't do it here. we are sadly mistaken.
Right.
We already know that there was 3 or 4, is it, FBI agents involved in the plot to kidnap the governor of Michigan.
Yeah.
We already know, or Minnesota, Michigan. Yeah, Michigan. We already know there was FBI agents involved in that. We already know, well, we've always known, but we officially know now that the CIA had John F. Kennedy killed. We know that's a fact. You know, they just released all the
Oh,
footage.
that's all out. Oh, God,
But
yeah.
beyond that, we've known it was a government cover-up for years.
You know where the word conspiracy
Yeah,
theory
yeah.
came from?
Yeah, probably from that.
From people who didn't, from people who questioned the original JFK story.
And then on top of that, bro, like, everybody, you know, we were brought up when we were younger, started talking about politics in school, 5th or 6th grade. We were always taught that Richard Nixon was a criminal. You know what I mean? Watergate was this, that, and the third. But, dude, just 6 months earlier, was it 6 months? It was less than a year or so, maybe. However far ago it was. Before Watergate, like, Richard Nixon beat his opponent by, like, 18 to 20 million votes in the 70s. I mean, that's a landslide, bro. He was a very popular president.
Right.
And whatever happened with the Watergate thing, you know what I mean? I don't really know the whole story of that, but I know that the FBI raided the fucking Watergate hotel in the middle of the night and found all kinds of papers and shit.
And it
You know what I
turns
mean?
out that 2 of those guys were CIA agents.
Yeah.
Like this was all.
I mean, almost anything like that goes on in our country, like, goes on behind the scenes with the power of the DOJ.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, this government is totally
We
power hungry and out of control.
We think Russia's running around like little ninjas and shit and stealing shit and moving shit. But truth of the matter is, most of the time it's our government. You know what? Do you think for a minute they don't have somebody in, and Putin knows this too. I'm sure a couple people have probably died out of the accusation. Somewhere in Russia is somebody who the CIA is already talking to, who they're somehow already figuring out how they're going to get him in power. That's what we do. That's how we fight wars.
Yeah.
I ain't got to fight you. I'll get rid of you and get somebody that's friends with me in your job. Well, fuck you. I mean, you know.
I'll find me a fucking Russian in Siberia that's a marksman and fucking take your ass out.
And then
I mean, like,
and I'll already have paid off your predecessor.
It's exactly what we did in Ukraine. It's exactly what we did in fucking
Brazil.
Was it Syria?
Venezuela.
Not like
Probably
Syria.
several.
Libya.
Syria, Libya.
Like,
That's
we went
not
and
either
murdered
or.
fucking like, murdered their leader. I think Libya was in response to the plane hostage situation. I think we invaded them. And
Do you know why we took out Gaddafi?
Because he wouldn't join the World Bank.
That's why we took out Gaddafi.
Because he had the largest stash of gold at that time. You think that? But that probably doesn't have anything
So
to do with it.
this turned into an interesting conversation on Facebook, believe it or not, the other day, because here's this explained a lot of things very well. Let me word it carefully. The reason they took before they took out Gaddafi, his country, all education was free. All any college you wanted to go to was free. All healthcare was free because they had so much in exports. They could pay for that, and they had so much in exports that the people of the country got a check every year from the government because they were contributing to the wealth of the country, so the country was contributing to their wealth.
Right.
He had a perfect governmental system, and he was about to start his own currency, and he didn't need nothing from nobody. That's why they took him off. The conversation turned into, I said, it's not that I'm against government programs. It's not that I'm against welfare or any kind of social security it's not that I'm against free health care. It's not that I'm against college being paid for by the government. I'm not against any of these things. I'm against them being paid for by my tax dollars. We have a large enough country. I'm going to give you the speech my mother would give me. We have the resources to make enough money for these things to be covered by the money this country makes. We should have every one of these things in the state of West Virginia just due to the amount of coal that comes out of our fucking properties.
100%.
It shouldn't be out of our tax dollars.
Well,
It shouldn't be us give them money and then they take our money and do that with it.
Yeah,
They should be making money. They're our government. If you're anything, you should be making money.
I don't believe in the whole tax system, period.
Like,
You know what I mean? I don't think that you should have to pay for licenses or anything. This whole thing we call our world is manufactured by this government, by these men. You know, they put Walmart all the fucking way up on the hill, so you gotta fucking have a car to get to the goddamn store. You know what I mean? I
Right.
don't like that shit.
right.
They force you into this world. You know what I mean? And that's how they keep you trapped and working the 9 to
It's very
5.
true.
It's a debt-ridden economy. You know, like I got a car payment and a house payment. I have to go to work. I don't have a choice. So even if I wanted to quit my job and be free and all happy, and I could, but I'd lose my car and my house, but I'd be free and happy. So I mean,
No, I mean,
they create that system, and you're forced into it.
I
It's
love
no different. And like the CIA is proven, FBI, all of them, it's proven that, you know, this whole story you just finished, the plane kidnappers, the hostage takers, were most likely CIA fucking Libyans for CIA trained. They're the ones that took
Well,
the
I mean,
hostages.
are you telling me?
And then when they were done with them, they either just 86'd them or they freaking put them in prison.
I mean, a lot of people. Let's go back and talk about America pre 9/11 before we do that. I'm not defending anything. You just always have to lay out these facts. Pre 9/11, you could talk your way past a guard with a fucking gun and get on a plane. Like we were pretty lax pre 9/11. They were searched. They had box cutters. They still let them on the plane. If that's what happens, they probably had guns. But you know, I feel like, you know, pre 9/11, we weren't under Homeland Security threats. We were running pretty free.
Homeland
we weren't,
Security didn't exist.
Yeah, we weren't. They had a metal detector at the airport to make sure you didn't have a gun. But nobody was really watching for anything like that to happen. It wasn't a thought. It was some Hollywood shit that happened in bad movies. If you went to Beirut, this kind of shit could happen, but not in America. You know, like, we didn't concern ourselves with things like that back then. So
we didn't have to.
look
so
at
post 9/11, everybody, you know, the most recent is abortion rights and gun rights.
Right.
You know, you hear that about that being unconstitutional, but no one recently, anyway, no one's talked about how unconstitutional the Patriot Act was. Post 9/11, and that's Republicans and Democrats passed that law, signed into law by George fucking Bush, who we both know had a hand in creating the CIA to begin with. The Patriot Act, that provided the funding to open and fund Homeland Security. And then on top of all that, shortly after the Patriot Act passed, you're going to get your creation of Facebook and Instagram and all those social media apps. I think it's 4 or 5 years later after that. You know what I mean? I think, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Patriot Act was signed into law in 2003. It was like a year after 9/11. A year and some change, maybe. The Patriot Act was signed into law. Facebook was created in 2007.
MySpace disappeared immediately.
Facebook was the world's largest data collection, all due to the Patriot Act. You know what I mean?
Oh, yeah.
I believe that Facebook has been funded by the CIA since its
The
inception.
Patriot Act was 100% nothing but a CIA.
But it was their way to spy on us as American citizens. And it's still being funded today. Even how many Republican-controlled Congresses have we had in the past 20 some years.
Right.
Plenty of opportunity to get rid of this, and not necessarily. We need Homeland Security with the threat of terror. Well, yeah, but they need to be focused on terror. What we don't need is the ATF. You know, did you see the Matt Gaetz interview on Temple?
I absolutely did.
He literally said alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It sounds like a fun Saturday night in my district.
Yeah.
You fucking ain't right. Minus the tobacco, unless you count the blunts. You know what I mean? That's the only tobacco I consume. But still,
Right.
Absolutely. Alcohol, tobacco, firearms is the most useless fucking division that they have in law enforcement. So shut that shit down and move all those agents to Homeland Security.
We gotta start fighting. We gotta stop fighting verbs. You can't have a war on drugs.
No.
Okay,
that's all that was. That's just funding.
The war on drugs caused a bunch of drug use.
Right. Which is,
I'm pretty sure this whole ad campaign against suicide I see everywhere just somehow plants a seed to people who wasn't even thinking about suicide. That suicide's a fucking option. Sorry. Suicide's a horrible thing. Nobody should ever kill themselves. But you hurt the people around you more than you help a situation.
I always say that. It's an easy way out.
It's not an easy way out. It's an easy way out for you.
Exactly.
It's excruciating for everybody else.
Exactly. It's an easy way out.
But I think these government campaigns where they constantly flash suicide on the fucking screen every fucking 15 minutes, and you can't say that word, can you? But I mean, I feel like they're causing more harm than good.
They are.
Every one of these campaigns that I see on TV for anything causes more harm for that particular scenario than it does good.
Time that you ever saw drugs. What was the first time? I didn't even know you then, and I can guarantee it.
A DARE officer walked in and put some weed in my hand.
Thank you. I was 10 years old, and in 5th grade, I had no fucking clue what this shit was until the fucking school showed me what it was. And I'm talking all of it. Pills, coke, crack. He had it all on a fucking poster board like this fucking big, filled with drugs. I'm talking LSD, shrooms. It was all on there. And it had
what you want.
And it had the stupid ass fucking dog on there too. What was his name? McGruff?
Yeah.
The crime fighting dog. And he was standing there like an armload of drugs. He was like, look at all these fucking drugs. And I'm 10 years old, and I'm like, I didn't even know this shit existed. I'm still watching Daffy Duck and shit at home. You know what I'm saying? These motherfuckers ruined my childhood.
You kids ever see any of this stuff at home?
No? Oh, all right. Well, now you have. So go find some. Shit.
Yeah. It's awesome.
You should try it. Shit. And then, now this generation, well, the past generation, you got doctors peddling painkillers that have literally crippled our fucking growth as a society due to all the overdoses. So, I mean, it's drugs is definitely the harder drugs and shit. I get it. You know what I mean? There's not really a place for it in street level society.
There's not there,
You know what I mean? But all of these drugs are most of these drugs. Now you got fentanyl, which is man-made in China 90% of the time. But most of these drugs come from the earth. You know, even your heroin and shit like that, it comes from the poppy plant in Afghanistan and wherever else it's fucking grown at. You know what I mean? So all of these things come from nature, and you know, when you step back and look at the big picture, it's hard to blame the street level drug dealer. You know, this guy, if anything, he's got the entrepreneurial spirit. He saw a need and he filled it.
Right.
He didn't do anything wrong. People asking him for drugs and he knew where to get them. He just made a little money in the middle. Like, I mean, I get it. It's society. Society as a whole wants the drugs. I was watching a movie the other day, dude, and she made like this female drug dealer in Mexico. She said, America's war on terror is good for my drug business. And she's so fucking right. We don't have a war on drugs anymore. Right. The drug cartels are making billions. We got a war on terror, and nobody's paying attention to the drugs anymore. Like you said, this fucking verb war has to stop. Like,
Right.
just the best way to do it is to stop being so controlling of that shit and legalize it all. All of it. Natural selection kicks in immediately once everything's legal. Because today we don't have natural selection.
No.
Stupid people live to be ripe old. I mean, like,
It's not good for society.
It's not good for society. It's not. Even a wolf pack will thin the weak members. You know what I'm saying? Like, Call the Herd. What was that? Far Cry 5?
Yeah.
Great fucking game.
Fighting the Mormons.
Still
Well, our dad didn't ask if we saw it at home. Ours didn't either back then. They didn't ask that. I was just joking. But nowadays they do.
What was it?
But they did come into the. She said our dad didn't ask if we saw anything at home. I was like, ours
no.
didn't either. That's a new thing. But they definitely did walk in there with a whole bunch of drugs and be like, look at all this shit we found, kids.
Like I said, my dare program had the fucking cartoon dog. And I was 10 years old. I like cartoons. I was like, this guy's got all the drugs. That's the guy to know.
This guy.
Apparently, you're supposed to bring the McGruff Crown Dog to the party.
If you
because
find
this
this,
dude has it all.
If you find this at home, don't break it up.
Right.
Okay? And if you break it up, don't put it in a paper, okay? And if you put it in a paper, don't
roll
do
it
this.
up, and don't.
That would be bad.
Whatever you do, don't light that motherfucker. Yes. But, you know, the only difference is most of us stop there. You know, weed and some alcohol here and there.
Right.
Most of us stop there. But there's a lot of us that was like, nope, that's not good enough.
That's not enough.
I want to be mind-numbingly fucked
I will
up.
never forget. Because, I mean, back in 2000, you know, I loved the party, but I will never forget the first time somebody offered me meth. I didn't take it. Because I asked him, hey, where'd you get this at? And he said, I made it.
Nah.
No.
No, bro.
No.
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 Nope.
Nope.
Bro, you didn't even finish the 9th grade. Like, first, let's start there. You know, the drugs that were made got physicists and chemists making this shit, and you didn't finish the 9th grade. Bro, no.
No.
What's in it again? Kerosene.
You showed up here with a dolly you came up my driveway with a dolly with a broken washer on it.
Golly.
No.
Although, you know, I have bought some interesting things off crackheads, bro.
Oh,
I'm not gonna lie.
Oh. Let me tell you a good story. I lived in Pittsburgh.
Well, that's never the start to a good story.
No. It was payday. I had a pocket full of money, and I'm walking home. And the crackhead on the corner's like, and now mind you, this is like, you know what, 2002. This crackhead's like, hey man, I got one of them Xboxes. Xbox was still fairly new. He said, $100. I was like, really? He said, yeah, brand new in the box. He said, and I was like, okay. He said, but I'm not selling you the box. Fine. So I take everything out of the box. And I go home with it. And I come in the door and I got an Xbox with 2 controllers, a game, fucking plug-in ports, everything. I get in there and I plug up the Xbox and I sit down and roll me a blunt and I start smoking and I'm playing my brand new Xbox, dude. And the game that came with it was Battle Boats or some shit like that. Was that what it was called?
Like Hydro Boat or something like that.
Yeah, it was like a tank boat and you shot other boats.
Yep.
Yeah. Okay, so
Hydrojet or some shit.
I'm playing it and I'm having a ball, dude. And all of a sudden my roommate comes home and he's fucking ecstatic. He just paid $100 for a brand new Xbox. He had the box in his hand.
No.
Yeah. Yeah, and he's trying to sit down on the floor and open it up, and there's a motherfucking break in it. He's so mean about Xbox. He caught my roommate on the way home. I don't know if he knew it was my roommate or not, but he caught my roommate on the way home and sold him the fucking box.
Wow.
$100.
$100 for a brick in a box.
Yeah.
That's almost as bad as a dick in a box. You know what I'm saying?
I was like, I guess the house paid full price
Step
for
one,
this.
get a box.
Step
two,
put a brick
cut
in
a
the
hole in the
box.
Step 3, put your dick in the box.
Have opened the box.
Good times, good times.
Yeah. So,
So,
let me tell you what's coming. What is that movie? What is that movie with Damien, the actor's name is Damien. I can't think of his last name. He was in Stigmata. But she's a spy. And
I thought that was the Don Telescope for a second.
he trains her to be a spy. I can't skip the ads or nothing. This sucks.
I think I kind of want to know what you're talking about. Like I know.
I
that
can't
I've seen
think
this
of the
shit.
name of the movie. I was just making a reference point, but that's what they did with the vice president. They took her to a basement somewhere for about 3 or 4 weeks. They put her through charm school. They changed her laugh.
She still has that old cackling ass laugh though.
No, she looks like she raided Hillary and Joe's closets now. They've taught her to be presidential. How scary is this? This is what's to come, dude. She's still wearing her pearls. Okay, we still on the Lisa Simpson theory with me. She's still wearing her pearls. She wore a pearl necklace. Hey, look, OD green's my favorite color. So I grew up in an army house. So, but I think they're preparing her to be a president.
Well, yeah. Why wouldn't you? Like this has never been done before. Like we're talking. This dude is 80 years old. You know what I mean? The average lifespan for the male human is 77, I think. Like, he's far outlived his lifespan. Like, you should be preparing for whatever happens. Whether it's impeachment or it's fucking, which, with these classified documents, it might be heading that direction. But he'll never get removed out of, the Senate has a majority of Democrats now, so... I mean, he's not going to get removed unless you can sway a couple Democrats to go your way.
Right.
And to impeach a president, you need 2/3. So you need 66 votes. The Republicans have 48 people. 49. 49. I think it's 49 to 51. Yeah. Republicans have 49 seats. So we need 17 Democrats to flip to vote for impeachment. And that'll never happen.
You don't think so?
You get 3 or 4 probably. You're never going to get 17.
Yeah, I think they're prepping her.
Yeah,
I think we will.
They should. The House.
I think we will. I really believe that he's. Look, I don't like saying this, but I think he will.
Well, I think that Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans in the House are a little bit smarter than that. And in the long run, because they don't want to do anything here in 2 years when we have the presidential election, they want to add more red seats to the House. They don't want to lose any seats. We've been in the minority for 10 fucking years. So Kevin McCarthy's a little smarter than that. He doesn't want to lose Republican seats. So the best course right now is to focus the next 2 years on investigations, let Joe Biden remain where the fuck he is, and you put a stop to anything he does. Because everything has to go through the House and Senate. So we got stopping power. He cannot pass any more stupid laws because we have a majority in the House. So we at least can stop his agenda of tax and spend like all Democrats. You know what I mean? That's just my plan. And in 2 years, he's either A, not healthy enough to run, and who knows going to put their ring in or their name in the hat.
I feel like, yeah, but I think the Democrat plan, I think Benny Johnson said this, and I think he kind of nailed it when he said it. I think the Democrat plan is to, look, he's not towing the line right. He's obviously not doing his job the way they intended. So I think the Democrat plan is to demonize him and use the same tools and tactics they used on Donald Trump to the point of making sure he doesn't run again.
Right.
I think you're right.
Why do you think CNN and MSNBC are all of a sudden acknowledging that Hunter Biden's laptop is real?
The MAGA crowd.
They're starting to lose the left-leaning media.
The MAGA crowd is some circling fucking hyenas who just got power and are out for justice.
Well, they didn't get power yet, but they're growing.
They're out.
There.
They're hungry.
Out of 220 some Republicans.
If the Democrats get their way, he's got 2 years. If the MAGA crowd and Republicans get their way, he's going to be so publicly. If they put, look, I'm not going to go down the whole list of shit that's been accused of Joe Biden. But if they started dumping that shit in the street,
they're going to. That's exactly the point.
He don't have 2 years.
They're going to focus solely on investigations for the next 2 years, and then election time comes, they're still investigating Joe Biden. His name is at the top of everybody's brain. He will not get reelected, even if he runs again. If you're in the middle of a House investigation,
and he's got one of the strongest
Donald
campaigns
Trump
in the world
is not under House investigation. Donald Trump is under New York, or this state, or that state, this company, that company. He's not under federal investigation. It's a huge difference. But they can't do anything. They can investigate all day long, but they can't do anything until Joe Biden's out of office. So the smart thing to do is let him be president, because Kamala's worse. Let him be president. Next 2 years, we're going to launch these investigations, and in that 2 years, they're going to have enough evidence to say, okay, we can't charge a sitting president with a crime. You can't. It's impossible. You cannot charge a sitting president. But what we can do is we can go ahead and charge Hunter Biden. And during Hunter Biden's trial or Senate hearing or however that works, all this Joe Biden juiciness is going to come up. So he's not going to win re-election. This is why you're starting to see what you just said. The Democrats are starting to distance themselves a little bit. Because one, they can't get shit passed now. We have control of the House. Nothing's going through. The next 2 years, you're a lame duck. You're basically just trying to get through it. But just like the whole fucking shit. I just lost it. Just like the impeachments. The impeachments that they launched against Donald Trump while he was in office. That, along with mail-in balloting and all that dumb shit, but that had a huge hit on election day turnout. Like, people changed their vote from Trump to Biden.
Right.
Because of those impeachments.
Right.
Whether they were launched with a valid reason or not. We both know they weren't. You know what I mean? You can't give him a quid pro quo in Ukraine when you have Joe Biden on there literally on video demanding that somebody get prosecuted or you're not getting money.
You know, you'll fire that prosecutor or you're not going to get money.
So that was, it was launched on some bullshit reasons to begin with, and then they tried to impeach him again over January 6th, or January 6th.
Yeah.
So
which the further we get into these documents, dude, I don't know. Like I've been following this a little bit closely, and it turns out that what's in those documents? Things about China, things about Ukraine, things about
you sweetheart,
things about basically. If I understand correctly, what he did was he took all the shady stuff he was doing, like with the Ukraine and with China, and he took those documents, and he's been doing this since 2009. He's been taking classified documents pertaining to the shady shit he's doing. And so, since he was a senator.
Well, that's where I got questions. You know what I mean? You're saying
he's been involved with Ukraine since 2009. This is getting interesting.
That's when he was made the Ukraine policy leader by Obama. But here's the thing: a state senator doesn't have access to those files. Joe Biden hasn't been taking shit. Somebody's been giving this to him. As president, you have access to these types of files.
As vice president.
As vice president, you might. As a state senator, though, you should have zero access to classified documents unless you're on that committee, intelligence, finance, whatever.
He was on the Ukraine,
but was he on the intelligence committee? No, I don't think he was. He was on foreign policy committee for sure, and he was the head of the Ukrainian policy. But if he's not on the intelligence community, he shouldn't have any access.
Well, I mean, okay, so let's go full on like born supremacy theory then. Well then, he was involved with the CIA coup on some level probably. So there's his classified files.
But he still doesn't have access. He should.
But we don't even really know exactly. Well, no, he shouldn't.
You know what I mean? That's the thing.
No, he shouldn't.
He's a senator.
But
and
you know,
even as a vice president.
Agent Lynch from the CIA. You know,
even as the vice president.
They're all Agent Lynch.
You know,
Agent Lynch from the CIA can get them classified.
The thing is every single one of those files that Donald Trump had at Mar-a-Lago, the fucking archives knew which files were there. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. There was a process. There was conversation between Donald Trump's people and the National Archives to keep these files safely and securely. Because let's be honest, you and I, we're not walking into Mar-a-Lago. We're probably not even going to be allowed to pull our fucking Subaru on the front lot.
No.
Before the security is surrounding you. Like, why the fuck are you here? Because you look poor.
If you rang the doorbell, they'd probably just laugh over the intercom.
You wouldn't get that close. You might not get on the same fucking block as Mar-a-Lago. I wouldn't even know how to dress. I wouldn't even know how to dress to drive through that part of town. You know what I'm saying? Like, do you have to dress a certain way? Do I need a driver? I mean, I'm just saying, it's surrounded by $1 billion home, you know what I'm saying? Like, there has to be certain level, like my 2019 Subaru Legacy is not allowed near Mar-a-Lago.
I don't know, man. We've worked at country clubs enough. We've looked at country clubs enough to know if we went to Sam's and bought some khaki shorts and a polo shirt and pulled up in a beat-up Subaru that was in decent condition, they'd let us right the fuck in. That's how rich people
but that's
really
West Virginia Country Club. You know there's a difference. I always say this. You know there's a difference between West Virginia rich and rich. You know, these motherfuckers in West Virginia, they rich. They might have some money, but they're not rubbing elbows with Donald Trump. That's a whole new level of rich.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
They wouldn't like him. He's stuck up. Like, I doubt he is.
I don't think he is.
I'm just
From
saying,
what I've seen reported, you know what I mean? Like, I don't think he is. But regardless, these files with fucking Joe Biden were in four 5 different locations now, unsecured.
6.
Hunter Biden had access to a lot of them, had keys to the house.
They found 6 new pages yesterday.
You know,
Yesterday.
they have scheduled. There was no FBI raid. There was an FBI search of his home.
13.
There was no
hours.
raid.
No.
Yeah, no raid. No. They
But
knew he was coming.
but
And then they announced on the news yesterday morning that I was watching before I went to work that they have scheduled another search of his beach house, Rehoboth Beach or whatever it's called. Scheduled a look through his house. Like, this is the difference, that you're being treated
the
completely
news
different.
is being very soft on him.
Yeah, absolutely they are.
The fucking GOP, the on Twitter the other day. The fucking no wait, I took a screenshot of it. The House Investigation Committee literally said, where does Joe Biden not have documents stored away?
Right.
Like,
the point is, it all looks shady. Number one, you're not even supposed to have these files. Number two, they're in a location where, I'm not going to say is open access to anyone, but you have $51 million in donations by the Chinese government. So you know they have access to these classified files that were found in office. And you know what? Here's the thing, man. Treason is punishable by death. You know what I mean? Stupidity is awarded. You become president when you're a dumbass.
man,
You know what I mean? Period. The end. You cannot go to jail for being a dumbass. The only thing you can do is get a better policy position, a better position on your political board.
I feel like this issue is going to bring some serious shit to a head, because
It should.
even on CNN, when they do like the little street interviews, you're hearing people say, it's so obvious now that there's a two-tiered ideological justice system in this country.
Exactly, and it always has been.
But
It always has been.
even people who completely disagree with everything that the whole MAGA crowd stands for is standing there like, you got us.
But it's always been like that, though.
Mar-a-Lago lasted 12 hours, and we talked about it for 6 weeks.
In the middle of the night.
Yeah.
In the middle of the night.
Oh, well, I mean, we don't want to get into talking about state prisons, because then I got to go into some Kanye shit, where I'm talking about how the people that own the entertainment industry get paid money by the private prison system to purposely spread an ideology of glorification of violence and criminal activity.
Exactly. That's
which
why you
automatically feeds the prison system money, so they get more money. Yeah, sorry about the invisible whiteboard, but look.
No, that's a known fact, though. That's why you have so many of these fucking studio gangsters. They ain't never been on the streets in their fucking life. Mom and dad's got a studio in the basement. These motherfuckers don't know. This whole gangster rap nowadays is so fake. It's at least rap in my days, these motherfuckers were about it. Bro, if you said something wrong to Tupac in public, you getting beat up. Like, fuck that. This motherfucker was gangster, bro. And Biggie, he might shoot you in the face because his fat ass wasn't running.
No.
These motherfuckers were gangsters. And dude, don't get it fucked up, because you're absolutely right. There's only one reason why gangster rap still exists. And it's not even real gangster rap anymore. They're just studio motherfuckers that can make music. And 90% of the time, they can't even make the music. They just sing it.
And it's petty
It's
crime
written
now.
for them. It's fucking, it's all, I mean.
It's all about doing drugs and overdosing, and
Right,
it's
but when
petty
you-
crimes now.
But when you rap about that shit and people are living that shit, that's why they're rapping about it.
Right,
Because people are actually living that shit.
right.
You know what I mean? There are people out there that have watched their mom overdose 10 times. and she just still doesn't get it in her head that you need help. You know what I mean? There are people
Right.
out there that live that life, but when you rap about it and you pretend that you can make millions of dollars because you came from the streets, now these young kids want to do it, and they're like, "Fucking education! I can get more money on the street."
Right.
And yeah, you probably can, but let's be real,
It's
man.
a trap.
If you're not a smart motherfucker, the streets are a trap game for you. And it's no different in regular life. If you're not a smart motherfucker, the debt system will trap your fucking ass. It just will. You know what I'm saying?
That's what it's designed to.
It's no different. If you're in the streets can trap you. If you're smart enough to get out of the street, debt will trap you. It's all just a vicious cycle, bro. And that point you made about the rap industry fueling the private prison population is 100% accurate. And the states have a contract with these companies to keep them at a certain capacity. And I'm sure sometimes it's above 80%. But with the last 10 or 12 years, with the drugs, the overdoses, it's easy. We got these motherfuckers filled up.
Right. Right.
You know what I mean? Fentanyl's no different.
Dude, I mean, let's talk about West Virginia. Because you can't tell me that it wasn't a designed plan. You can't tell me that it wasn't a designed plan on some level. And if the governments didn't talk about this when they were talking about this happening, didn't discuss this as a possibility, that's a big failure on government. But I can remember a time where you could go to a doctor in West Virginia and be like, I scraped my arm on the door when I was walking out it this morning, and they'd be like, oh,
here's some more tabs.
Have some Lortabs. Yes, I have potassium iodide in the house.
You know, in case of a nuclear bomb.
In case of a nuclear bomb. But anyway, you know, they did that for a decade. And then one day, the ATF, the Drug Administration came in and goes, nobody else gets any of these.
No. First.
Now, wait. Let's be fair. They shipped 90 million pills to a population of 5,000 in a small county of West Virginia.
But before they did that, you're missing a big step here. In that decade, it wasn't just Lortabs.
Oh,
Like
yeah.
every year, there was something new.
Oh yeah.
And by the time we got to the end, we're in the fucking oxycodones and shit.
Hydroxys. I remember people talking about what was
Lortabs were the hydroxycodones.
somas. I don't even know what a soma is, but I can remember people talking about. I don't even know if that's a pill or a slang
is.
term.
Some kind of fucking nerve pill or something.
Yeah, but
I don't know, but yeah, bro. But at the end, they had fucking oxys that you could fucking literally overdose off a half a fucking pill.
yeah.
You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
you're right.
Like,
You're right.
So in that
Mhm.
10 years, the drugs got stronger and stronger and stronger and stronger.
Yep.
And they kept them fucking prisons full, and they kept the addiction cycle going,
Yep.
which in turn fuels their whole plan for
And then once-
government support. Because
when
now all these
everybody-
single mothers need help from the government to feed their fucking kids because you done locked them up.
Okay, now my question. Okay, let me applaud. Let me get on Hulu and watch the TV show called.
Oxyana?
No, the show about West Virginia.
I'm pretty sure it's Oxyana.
No,
It's
not
about
Ox-
Oceana, West Virginia.
No.
That's
no.
where that 500,000 pills, the 5,000 people.
Yeah, no,
that's where that
it's called
was shipped.
it's called
Oceana.
something else though.
Yeah, I don't know. There's
I
one
can't
that's called
remember what it's called.
Oxyana.
But
It's
anyway.
like fucking amazing.
But anyway, why? I mean, you're the government and the pharmaceutical companies, and you are making money off everybody in the fucking state and the prison company. Why would you take the pills away and allow the heroin and fentanyl to take the place?
Well, no, they didn't. That wasn't the plan. That's not the plan. The plan.
It looked like it was the plan.
It's not, though. It's not. The plan, sir, is, and you've seen it. I'm sure you know people, but the plan is you do all this, everything we just talked about. You do all that. You take it away from them, and now you put them on government subsidized drugs, aka methadone, Suboxone. Now Now you can be poor on drugs, go get a medical card, and get subscribed these government drugs. Methadone, Suboxone, there's a couple more out there. They're all paid for by the Medicaid card, which is a federal government thing. So now you're being paid basically. So now you're on government controlled drugs.
Government dependency. Yes,
Yeah,
sir.
exactly.
Yes, ma'am.
100%.
Yeah.
And dude, from taking up there, I live in the addiction world. My wife is actively fighting that shit. She fights that shit every fucking day. And matter of fact, she's relapsed twice this year already. So I live this shit. I know what this shit's about. Dude, I've been up there to the methadone clinic several times. And let me tell you, man, they're up there for 20 fucking years. They're not ever
There's
trying
no-
to get off
no.
drugs. They're on that shit forever. And even worse, in West Virginia, you may have made a couple runs up there.
Oh, but a couple.
But dude, there are some people up there. I've seen 80-year-old women up there. They go up there. They've never been addicted to drugs a day in their life.
They're just trying to get off
They
some
need-
medications they got.
No, they need pain relief. And you
Oh.
cannot get pain pills in the state of West Virginia. You cannot get them prescribed. Especially when you're on Medicaid. They will not prescribe pain pills. I don't care what your surgery is or I don't care what your problem is. You will not get a doctor to prescribe pain pills to a Medicaid patient. And a private pay patient, like private insurance, is still like pulling teeth. They don't give out pain pills here anymore. You got
No.
people going up to the methadone clinic and taking a drug replacement drug for the little bit of pain relief that drug provides.
I didn't like when she
That
had
shit's
her gallbladder surgery. They
Bet
came
you
in
she
to
got
give
nothing.
No, they came in to give her some fentanyl,
Yeah.
and she told her she didn't. She said,
But
"I'm
they
not."
didn't take. She didn't give her nothing to take home.
No, she said.
That's
She
crazy.
said.
Fucking crazy.
She said.
Sorry, we just cut you open a few hours ago, but you'll be okay.
No, they didn't. They take a tiny little shot back on a needle.
Yeah, I've seen it. My dad had it done too, but still, I mean, my dad went under.
Yeah, we wasn't in the hospital long when neither of my kids were born. They got them kids out, stitched her up, and sent us home same day delivery.
I think me and my wife were in there for 2 days. The end of the second day, we got out with Abigail.
So Atlanta is on a curfew.
Yeah, it's typical though. I mean, what?
It's not typical.
And let me start by saying I have one or two little stories that I've seen about this, and I'm so vague. I don't know any details.
Okay, so let me.
I'm gonna go ahead and say what I've heard, and you apparently got more information than I do, because it's the same story that I've heard 100 fucking times. An innocent black man got shot by a cop.
No.
Okay, no.
No. This is so much more fun.
Yeah,
So,
because I know it involves
some
police
Antifa
brutality or
kids,
some shit.
some kids kept watching the news. some kids kept watching the news about what they're doing in Oregon. And they said, okay, well, here's what we're going to do. We're going to build us a little tent city out here on this little piece of forest property, and we're going to write no cop-free zone in big letters across a concrete barrier, and we're going to live back here. That's fine. Okay. Well, that got out of hand.
Wow,
It was causing problems for the
all
neighborhood.
automatically know a lot more about this. I never even heard
So,
of this
so
shit.
this causes some real problems for the neighborhood. You know, there's a lot of tweakers walking through and stealing random weed eaters and shit now. And it lowers all the property. This has went on for about a year, apparently. So the police are like, well, we can't evict them. It's public property. But wait, we can rezone it and put a police training facility there. So they rezoned it,
No.
and they put they let out the word that they're putting a police training facility there. So
Wow. In come the bulldozers to clear off property for the training center. Is
and
that
they
where we're
said
at?
well, they set up some protests. and announce. They set up some protests and put. Sorry. They set up some protests, and the police respond to the protests. And then one of them little dumb fucks pulls out a Shield M&P and pops a couple rounds at a cop.
Wow.
So the cops shoot his dumb ass. That's who got killed. He's a little white kid. Look, with curly hair.
How the fuck did CNN or wherever I heard this shit?
Hold up, we gonna
How
get
did he
there.
get to a black man?
So they shot him. I'm not laughing because he died. I'm laughing because like
this is
what did they think was gonna happen?
This is at their facility or whatever.
This is on that piece of property. Yeah.
So the cop shoots a protester in the no cop zone,
and then they proceed to start burning the city down. Well. That doesn't really go really well for the Antifa kids. I mean, don't get me wrong. They did some damage. They did some real damage. I really wish my menu would come up so I could turn my ads off and shit. My properties menu. Excuse my French. I don't know where it went. I'll have to fix that. I don't have any way to make that come up.
We'll work out all those bugs.
Yeah, but anyway.
So Antifa basically started this
right. If I can get this to play, there's like footage of like literally like the cops dragging Antifa members like halfway across the road and beating them with nightsticks and shit, dude. Like they don't play this shit in the South, homie. You might do this shit out west in Portland, Oregon. You might throw firebombs at federal buildings out here, but let me tell you something, pal. This is Georgia. This is Atlanta. Yeah. We will drag you out in the street and beat you with a knife.
Dude, I'm telling you, I've lived in South Carolina. I know all about that shit. South Carolina police, they are known. Their motto is, boom, 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 boom. Stop or we'll shoot.
Oh my God, I wish
we shoot first and sort it out later, or whatever it is. Shoot first and let God sort it out, or whatever they think down there. Because
how you get judged is your business. Yeah. We're just arranging the fucking meeting.
Yeah, I know down there, even police departments are closed on Sunday. You better be in church, motherfucker. They don't play down there. They are not tolerating some Antifa shit. I didn't know it was Antifa. I just heard activist or something get shot by police.
No,
city on
Antifa.
fire. So how much damage did they cause? Like, it wasn't like the city's on fire, was it? It was like just a couple buildings here and there before the police came and shot them all, probably, or like you said, beat them with nightsticks.
dude, it's brutal. And Christy acts like she's seen it. Oh, dude, if this ad would end, somebody gets free advertisement today. Dude, they beat the living hell out these kids, dude. I mean, it wasn't even pretty. Like, at some point it started to look inhumane, and then I was like, yeah, but I've seen how you all act. Like, no, at first I was like, oh my God, what are those cops doing to those protesters? And then I realized they were all wearing black hoodies, and I was like, oh, get them, boys.
And that is one long ass ad.
Yeah, it's only halfway there. I wish it would let me have my menu. I don't know where that menu went. It disappeared. These cops were oh yeah. A lot of these. Well, you know, there's a healthy mix, I'm sure, of police officers that were there for the last riot during Obama, that were young officers that don't ever want to see things like that go unchecked again, and then a mix of officers who joined the force because they went through a bunch of shit in that particular event, like in that riot, and they don't want to see that shit in their community ever again.
Yeah, but Atlanta wasn't really a hot spot for BLM riots back then, like in
The
2020 or
not
whatever it was.
BLM. No, I'm not talking about 2020.
We talking about that like late
Um,
60s shit?
No, I'm talking about, dude. Everybody seems to forget. Remember the Obama era riots?
Not in Atlanta, no.
They were all over the place. Milwaukee, Atlanta, Baltimore. New York didn't really get active, but it was Milwaukee.
Yeah, but it was
Atlanta.
all over cop shootings though. Like,
No, it began over Zimmerman. I'm going to say it again. I'm going to say it again until somebody has a alternative.
I've already provided
theory.
you an alternative.
Well, yeah, but like I still
The
stick.
Patriot Act, 100%. That's where the division started.
No, the Patriot.
When
We got the Patriot Act, dude, the only people we were looking funny at was the Middle East.
No, man. The Patriot Act gave the CIA permission to start spying on American
That's
citizens.
that's true.
Well, you weren't allowed to do that up to that point.
Where the divisions in our
When
society
you start taking away
began,
freedoms like that, bro, that's
now
when
it's playing. Now it's playing. I'm gonna bring the screen up.
that was a long ass fucking commercial, bro.
It was.
They trying to get you to buy my shit.
Yeah, the Burger King incident happened there. Cops shot dude in the back, and the riot started there. But I'll say it again, and I don't know if Christy was around and she's heard me ever say this before. Okay, after the Patriot Act, dude, we were looking funny at Middle Eastern people. That's how we were. With the word
After
terrorist,
9/11, yeah.
the terror, well, that's Patriot Act era. When the idea of terrorist or evil came in the package of a hijab or a man with and the people. Some people didn't even know the difference between Indian and fucking Middle Eastern.
Right.
The division began. The division began when. Oh, come on. Obama announced that if he had a son, he would look like Zimmerman. That's when the division began. It kind of the division began.
That to me though, that's no different than anything else you see left and right politicians doing it. You know, they're catering to that family or they're catering to that situation. It's what politicians do.
Right.
You know what I mean? And I don't know if that created the division. I think the division was always here. You know what I mean? When I was a kid, you were really separated by class. You know, let's be real. You know what I mean? You didn't, if you were in a certain financial class, you didn't intermingle with other people in that class.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like, dude, when I was a kid, like I never met a millionaire when I was a kid.
I hope I pulled up the right one.
It looks like they're smashing buildings and shit, bricks, like just the typical. And here come the popo. Another commercial, man. Fuck y'all. 100%. Fuck y'all and your sorry ass news story. But dude, I don't think any one person. It's like now the big story, politically wise, is the debt ceiling. You know what I mean? And all weekend long on Twitter, I've seen left, Hakeem Jeffries, Eric Swalwell, say now the Republicans are going to use the debt ceiling as hostage to not pay Donald Trump's bills. You know what I mean? And then the right will say that we need to control the debt ceiling from all the years of reckless spending by the Democrats.
I agree with that.
But you don't agree with the fact that Donald Trump racked up $67 trillion in national debt in 4 years?
Oh, I agree with
4
that
years.
too.
Like, that's Donald Trump. 6.7 trillion. Donald Trump racked up in 4 years. Check this out.
But wait.
8 years. Hold on. In 8 years, Obama only racked up 7.68 trillion.
Okay.
In 4 years, Donald Trump outspent him. So every president And every Republican and every Democrat in the past 20 years is responsible for this debt now.
Okay.
Not any one person is responsible for this shit.
When do we stop it?
We have to stop it soon.
Yeah. Like, I
But
mean,
you can't not, right now, you can't not raise the debt ceiling because you have to pay these bills.
we
Now,
could.
you can move forward by presenting a balanced budget and passing laws that say you have to put out a balanced budget every year. That's the that's the way to fix it.
How about passing a budget that says, and this is going to be some profound shit. I hope I don't hurt anybody's feelings. But how about we pass a bill that caps foreign aid? Can we cap foreign aid?
No, you don't want to limit yourself. But what you can do is you can start. Number one, you start by doing across the board cut. I don't know what the number is, but every department in the federal government takes a 3% budget cut. Every single one of y'all, all the way across the board. Social Security is not one of them. That is not an entitlement. That is earned benefit. You can't touch Social Security. That is not like welfare. It's not. It's different than that. But across the board, military, health and human resources, IRS, legislative branch, all of you, every single one of you, I'm good on that. Every single one of you taking a 3% budget cut.
Right.
And that money that is saved is instantly paid back into the debt. That money that is saved doesn't go into the national treasury or nothing. It goes back to paying that debt down. And every single year, you force these politicians, whatever day it is, because you know our government's fucking weird. Like the fiscal year ends and begins in October or some weird shit. So every single year, or every 2 years or whatever, you make it a law that you're not allowed to leave this fucking building until we come up with a balanced budget where our income does not exceed our outcome. You know what I'm saying? Fuck that. And that's the only way to do it. You make everybody take the cuts and you present a balanced budget that works directly towards paying off this debt.
We wouldn't have to raise the debt ceiling, I don't think, if we hadn't sent. Just entertain this. I think we have caught our, and this is something, and I'm hoping somebody puts this thought train together in D.C. and not just I. But we have kind of, as a populace, realized our government is laundering money to itself.
Yeah.
Okay?
Politicians are making millions.
We are sending trillions of dollars overseas to Ukraine. We are sending billions of dollars to fucking Uganda for fucking gender studies. God knows what we're doing to those kids.
Right.
You know, we're sending
And that's the
millions of dollars to Iran for LGBTQ fucking rights. We're sending. We don't need to lift our debt ceiling. We need to stop spending money on stupid shit in country. What kind of we spent $3 billion last year testing the effects of cocaine on a beagle. Lucky Beagle.
Yeah.
But
Not the same Lucky Beagle that Dr.
it
Fauci
sounds
had.
like, dude, I mean, I'm just asking a crazy question here. This is a crazy question. Can we go to the government and tell them we want to test the effects of cocaine on pit bulls and, in effect, the government buy us
Yes.
a bunch of cocaine?
Yes. If we both had some MDs and shit behind our name, we could make that happen.
We were stupid in our youth.
We could. We absolutely could. And that's the thing. Dude, if you can present a paper
Yeah.
that's professionally done and typed up, and you can show that there's a scientific need for this shit, absolutely you can get paid by the government to do stupid shit like that. 100%.
Right.
Dude, and you know, everybody's hating on Dr. Fauci, but realistically, that's the smartest motherfucker in the room. You know what? He gets paid more than our president. That's the smartest motherfucker out there. Like, how the fuck did you finagle that?
I tell you what,
How did any politician approve that anybody else in our government makes more than the president? That should be the top motherfucking dog, bro.
And we learning shit about Fauci now. I mean, I don't know if
Right.
you've been paying attention, but the Twitter files ain't been good to him at all.
No, and it's going to
And
continue
he's like,
to get
that's
worse.
all blatant lies.
It's
No.
going to continue to get worse.
He's a Star Wars fan. He's like, I'm not the Dr. Fauci you're looking for.
That guy retired last year.
You didn't read that. I told you. Have you ever seen his college thesis?
No, I don't dig into shit like that, bro. I would never thought in a million years to go look at his college thesis. But it might be worth a gander.
I'm a
but, you know
dork.
what I mean? But
Just tell me.
I never-
You're a fucking nerd.
never
So-
even seen that pop up in my news or in my feed when I was scrolling through anything. So never would have thought into it like that.
Damn.
What's it about? Controlling the population through vaccines?
No. Are you ready?
Was it co-authored by Bill Gates?
No. His college thesis was a thesis on how during the Spanish flu, the wearing of masks caused more bacterial infection and death than the Spanish flu did.
Hey, you know.
Is that deep enough for you?
There's a reason
Like-
why I'm happy I live in this state where
like-
we had a lot of freedoms. We didn't have to wear masks until right in the heart of it.
That is NIH. That is in the NIH.
That's insane. Because, you know,
You can look it up on your phone real quick if you want. It's in the NIH. They probably removed it by now. It
Probably
was
not.
in the NIH journal. It may still be. If you want to try to look it up, you can. But no, it's about how the wearing of masks during the Spanish flu caused more bacterial infections leading to death than the Spanish flu probably did. In other words, once it's in there, if I walk by you and I adjust my mask, once it's in there, you're guaranteed. Yeah, go straight to the fact check. Fact check will lie to you, but they'll tell you exactly what the hell went on when they lie to you. Oh, this article isn't real. Go to the fact check. The fact check will lie to you, but they'll tell you the whole story while they're lying to you. No, he did not write an article in the NIH talking about. We aren't hiring flunkies. Okay. You know,
Alright, hold on a second.
some things are too easy to not be of. Some things are too stupid to not be of intelligent design. Some things are. You can only fuck up so many times on accident. We've reached a point where it's obvious that this isn't incompetence. This is grand design. I don't know how else to put it. Like, you can't look at everything going on and go, oh.
Okay, so turns out that's not accurate. I'm still trying to figure it out exactly, but apparently, let's see, social media users have been publishing a screenshot of a tweet which erroneously
It's
claimed
not a tree. NIH.
that during the
.com.
1918 Spanish flu pandemic, people died of bacterial pneumonia from mask, and that Dr. Anthony Fauci, director of National Institute for Allergy and Infectious Disease, and a key member of the White House Coronavirus Task Force, knew about this and wrote about it in a 2008 paper. In fact, the study states that
Hold
Fauci
up.
co-authored in 2008 does not mention mask and found that bacterial pneumonia led to most deaths in the Spanish flu pandemic. which had been preceded by viral damage or influenza infection.
What's this? NIH.gov. National Institute of Health. Dr. Fauci, Spanish flu. See, you asked the wrong question and Google gave you the wrong answer.
No, it's not Google. It's Reuters. It's a fact check, bro.
Look,
Like,
bacterial pneumonia caused most deaths in 1918 flu evidence.
right, that's evidence. But what you're stating is that Dr. Fauci wrote a paper about it. That's incorrect.
2008.
He co-authored a paper, but he did not say in that paper that mask caused it. He said the bacterial pneumonia was caused from a previous influenza. That's what that says.
It's not what I read the first time I read it. I've read this before.
Either way, he knew that there was a possibility that germs were being kept in here. If you're sick, your germs are being kept in here to a certain point.
If he knew that, everybody knew that. It was a plan to spread it.
As someone who's worked in chemical plants and stuff and worn respirators when I painted or sandblasted, or I can tell you that those little fucking things they made us wear are worthless.
This is why I don't like the internet.
It's all about control.
Well, because you know they look. You don't. I have paper books in there. Nobody can ever change those paper books.
True.
They can go in and change shit whenever they want on the internet.
Absolutely.
Wikipedia is open.
Oh, wide open.
Like,
That's why I don't really use it as a source.
I can go in Wikipedia and put that I was a secret agent for MI5 and
Yeah. Absolutely. Matter of fact, let's make you a secret spy right now.
Super spy.
Secret squirrel. But yeah, either way, like you can't, like there's no way that you can convince me that Anthony Fauci is this fucking innocent, perfect little doctor dude. You know what I'm saying? This motherfucker has got his hands in some shit, and he knew that masks weren't gonna do shit.
Right.
That didn't solve anything. And he also knew that these vaccines weren't gonna be shit. After you told everybody that they were going to be.
Oh yeah.
At one point, it was if you get vaccinated, you can never catch coronavirus again. And now it's like, oh well, you might need yearly boosters now, just like the fucking flu shot.
No, I don't.
Fuck off, bro.
No.
I got the vaccine because I needed to for my job. I was in the
I'm
medical
not
field
getting.
at the time.
I'm not
I got
getting
it. Who knows what kind of long-term effects it's going to have from it, but so far ain't shit. So,
I'm not.
You know, I've never been an anti-vax person. I'm an anti-government telling me what to fucking do.
That's exactly it. That's exactly it.
When my job says you need to do this or you're going to lose your job, that's different. I'm not going to put my family at risk over something. You know what I mean?
You know,
the government didn't tell me to get it. I got it because my job wanted me to.
That's a strong point, Christy. They made people believe that this was needed to live through. You know, like there was the moral superiority other people felt because they had it. It was the treating people like they're trying to kill other people if they're not running to the doctor and getting stuck. I found it very odd. Look, okay, the government created, and they admit they created HIV. That's not. Is there any questions there? They've admitted.
No.
They created HIV.
No.
Okay. Cancer has been around for centuries and decades. Alzheimer's has been around for, sadly, a long time. We can go down the list. Parkinson's. We've all lost somebody close with Parkinson's. We can keep going. I mean, all these diseases that are horrific have been around for fucking decades. And at no point have they came out with a reliable way to keep you from catching these things or a reliable treatment. And certainly if they not found anything they're willing to give you for fucking free.
Hold on. There's your key right there. You got to back up just a few statements. Because there are things out here that will fix anxiety, depression, PTSD. There are things out here that will fix Alzheimer's. You can cure cancer. You certainly fucking can. But these whole verbs that they like to throw around, this war on drugs specifically, has prevented our scientists from experimenting on these illegal drugs. Because, dude, DMT has been shown to dramatically improve a PTSD person's brain function. DMT is an illegal drug, but you know what DMT also is? DMT is the drug your brain releases when you die. This is the reason why you see white lights and go to heaven. You're tripping balls because the death process is so dramatic on the body. This is your brain's way of easing the pain of death. You tripping balls. It's known. That's a known fact. And DMT is known to cure anxiety and depression. Cure it, Justin. No more, ever again. No more suffering from no more suffering from anxiety and depression.
No, you're gonna wake up with a I only live once.
I don't mean you're good for a few hours, few days. I mean cured. DMT has a way to rewire your brain and set your brain free from all the bullshit that you're holding in. Because we talked about this a couple weeks ago. Anxiety is a feeling that you can't fix something that happened in the past. For my wife, it's being molested at a young age. She feels like that's her fault. She has PTSD and anxiety from that. But because she still thinks it's her fault. That's a feeling of overwhelmingness to her because she can't fix that. That's in the past. And all the people that blamed her for that are dead. So she has to learn a way to forgive herself. You and I both know that's fucking hard. Yeah, I'm my own worst critic. I'm hard on myself. So it's hard for you to forgive yourself. Yeah. But DMT trips have a way of rewiring your brain. When you are forced, when your brain is forced to go into that kind of psychotic mode, you're free from all of Earth's struggles, and like a lot of people say DMT trip is like you can literally see yourself. Like if you were sitting here, your DMT trip, you would be up there looking down on your body. And when you get that kind of release, it has a way of rewiring your brain when you come back to, and it like cures anxiety and depression. And there's like microdosing mushrooms is shown to help PTSD, and I mean, like you got to give these scientists room to research these drugs, but you can't because big pharma wants their fucking dollars. It's not about helping people. It never is. What,
I will never, ever, 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 ever take another pharmaceutical mental health drug.
I'm not. I'll go down the street and go buy me some more fucking shrooms.
Yeah, dude.
Before I ever take a fucking another pill, because I'm not doing that shit.
No. I was on them for a while, and no. Because that wasn't even me. On so many levels, wasn't even me.
And they say it, and you know what? When I was on it, when I was on certain shit, I was probably less anxious. You know what I mean? I don't remember what they had me on. Something starts with an R. Some kind of fucking mood stabilizer or something. I don't know.
I was on a list.
But anyway, the one they had me on, because I just started, like, looking into getting medicated for some issues that I was having. I just started into it.
Walk away.
But, dude, they made it out like, I was definitely less anxious when I was on them drugs. So, it was working, but it didn't solve anything. When I realized that I needed to come off this medication because the side effects were worse, I still had that realization that my anxiety was still fucking there. And when I came off the drugs, it was even worse. Because the anxiety is still there. You can't put a Band-Aid on the fucking problem, man. You gotta fix the problem.
the most.
And that's the hardest part.
The most effective part of the mental health treatment that I experienced. I love this story, man, because it really did. I can't tell you how literally life-changing for me this was. Okay, so quick story. I was depressed as fuck. I tell this dude down here at Cabin Creek that I'm depressed as fuck. So he goes and gets some medication. Let's avoid any kind of slander suits.
Yeah.
He goes in the closet and gets me some free samples, some free samples of this guy. I don't think this guy's around here anymore. Get some free samples of
Drug
some
A.
shit. Yeah. And he gives it to me. I bring it home and I start taking it. And about 40 days later, I try to commit suicide.
Damn.
Failed attempt. I go straight to the hospital. Straight to Highland and sign myself in. While I'm there, they give me a whole list of shit. I'm there 7-8 days. They give me a whole list of things. And we come to the conclusion that I might be bipolar. But we're all real sure that it was just a side effect of the medication. Now, mind you, while I'm there is when they're giving away that new quit smoking drug that they were giving out
Chantix?
to all the nurses. And there were medical staff checking in there that week, left and right.
The Chantix.
That stuff apparently was bad. But
That's
the stuff I was
It'll
taking...
help you quit smoking, but you might try to kill yourself.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah,
what the fuck?
Yeah.
That doesn't seem like a fair trade. You know, whatever
Welcome
happened
to the Thunderdome!
whatever happened to the fucking the reward outweighs the fucking risk.
That's a real fight against your addictions there.
Well, absolutely. That's the way to end it all. You will not be addicted to nothing.
Nothing ever again.
Ever again.
Not to your next life. But anyway.
Fuck.
Anyway, they put me on all kinds of stuff, man. And after about, 2 years, I was like, no more of this. I was walking dead. You could have slapped me in the face. I wouldn't have had nothing to say to you. Nothing at all. I got off that shit, man. I won't ever take any of that ever again, dude. No, because
Yep.
you really get in a stalemate point in your life. Whatever you're doing when you start taking that medication. But anyway, the story. I gotta hit the bathroom real quick. The story is that I went to see a counselor. And this man asked me why I'm there to see him. First time I ever went to see him. I spent an hour. I spent 58 minutes and 30 seconds telling this man everything wrong in my life. And he looks at me and he's like, oh, time's up, but every bit of that's your fault. He's like, every bit of everything you just told me, your life choices, and things you could change tomorrow if you really had the heart to do it. He said, but everything you just told me, absolutely your fault. Nobody did any of that to you but yourself. I got mad. I knocked this motherfucker's papers off his desk.
That's
I was
the
like,
truth you
fuck
needed,
you. And I walked out the door. I got halfway across the parking lot to my car. And I literally just started crying, dude. I was like, motherfucker. Excuse my French, but
Sometimes the hard truth
yeah,
is
dude.
you need to hear it.
That man did more for me
Than any drug.
than any drug ever could.
That's the day your fucking life changed.
That's the day I said that.
Shit.
And I know he was watching me eating a fucking tuna sandwich through the window.
He was doing it like the teacher stand. Like, he watched you get in your car, get halfway across the parking lot, and tromp the fucking brakes. Like, motherfucker. Gotcha.
Keep him busy for a minute.
That's the best therapist in the world. son. Hell yeah. Sometimes that's all you need is Yeah, that's true. A lot of your counselors out there are just that. You know what I mean? They're just college trained counselors, and but there's a few out there that really, really want to help people. They're a diamond in the rough, and unfortunately, 9 times out of 10, they're not accessible to your lower income people who have lesser insurances or whatever the case may be. You know, because therapists are medically trained too. You know, they want to make money just like everybody else does, but every once in a while you get that good one that'll just snap you right out of it. And I'm pretty sure counselors' jobs aren't to provide drugs. Their job is to talk about it and provide insight. And you want drugs, you go to a real therapist or a psychologist and shit. But sometimes it's the counselors that do the real work. Does the feet on the ground kind of work.
Uh,
So,
oh, I own everything I've done too. Trust me, I will tell you some uncomfortable truths.
right, and that's the thing though. And dude, whether you've cured your anxiety or you've learned to live with it, but the things that you can correct about your past, you did, and that relieves a lot of that shit. Of course, there's probably still stuff you look back on your life and you're like, damn, I shouldn't have said that or shouldn't have done that. That's the things you can't fix. You know what I mean? That's the way I see it anyway. And that's hard for people to deal with. On top of everyday struggles that people deal with.
Yeah.
You know, going out there and trying to be a productive member of society. And
Oh
then,
God, dude.
and then coming home and just sinking into your depression. It just reminds me of Robin Williams.
Oh
This guy
yeah.
was so funny and such a great fucking actor and comedian,
I
and
did that for
and then
years.
just came home and probably sank to the lowest of the lows, and then came out of his house and was the highest of the highs, and just super happy, and everything was cool, and did that for years probably.
The day
before
I
he
can
finally had enough.
The
Like,
days where you gotta like fake happy, just so you like you're so deep down that you have to pretend to be extra happy all day just to keep people because you don't want
it's been a long time since I've been that low.
you
but I've been
don't
there.
want anybody to ask you what's wrong.
Yeah, because it's always nothing. I'm good.
Yeah, so I mean, like, yeah, no. You know what? It's chemical with me. I have that shit all the time. It's rough sometimes. I'll wake up and be upset about some shit that happened in 8th grade. Can't do nothing about it, man. I just gotta learn to live with it and sit there and just be like, fuck, what the fuck's wrong
Well,
with
dude, if
and
you
I'll
guys,
ask myself, what the fuck's wrong with you, man? Like, I'm that good at controlling it nowadays. Like,
So-
I'll just wake up and be like, the fuck's wrong
so
with you,
I'll
man?
have
Like,
to do a little research and remember which one it was and go back and watch a couple of them.
yeah.
But there's a Joe Rogan podcast, and he actually tells you in the podcast, if you have an extra $1,800 laying around and you can get to Costa Rica, I think it is, the flight to Costa Rica, and then to pay there's a shaman in Costa Rica, and you pay the money. It's like a retreat. And you go there for 7 fucking days out in the middle of the fucking jungle, and every single day you do DMT trips until your fucking shit is under control. He's like, this is how you do it. This is who you call to get the ball rolling.
Damn.
Like, holy shit. This is what other less regulated countries are doing. You know, they're doing these things with these illegal drugs. But they're only illegal because our government can't make money on them. You know, these are the kind of people that are actually
But our
helping
government
people.
could make money on it. Can
But-
you imagine if Medicaid gave out cocaine because
They do.
They do. They call
They
it.
do. They call it Ritalin.
Ritalin.
Or is it Adderall?
No,
It's one of
Adderall's-
those. I don't know.
see, I don't know.
I don't know. It's one
I
of
have
those.
ADD. I was on Ritalin as a child, and I can remember.
Adderall then.
I can
Or something,
remember
I don't know.
people referred to, and somebody can
Kitty
correct
cocaine.
me on this, kitty cocaine.
Kitty
That's what they
cocaine.
call it. But they call Adderall prescribed meth. I guess it's really close to the chemical compound of methamphetamine. It's like
Right,
off
but it's
by
got
one.
it's just a couple degrees.
It's not meth.
It's not
No,
meth.
not.
It's just meth.
It's meth.
It's meth. It's not meth. It's got meth in the name, but it's not meth.
But no, it's ad. You know.
No, the chemical name. Look it up.
I forget.
Adderall. It's
Yeah.
got meth in it.
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
like
yeah.
in the name.
Yeah. So, I never took Adderall, but I'm thinking about getting a prescription now that I have insurance. But I took Ritalin as a kid. They called Ritalin cocaine. They call this kitty meth. So I
Adderall.
don't know if there's
Generic
a difference.
name: amphetamine
Yeah.
and dextromethamphetamine.
It's not meth.
It's dextromethamphetamine.
Mephet. M-P-H-E-T.
The fuck? Adderall contains a combination of
Mephet.
amphetamine and dextroamphetamine.
Mephet.
Amphetamine and
It's not
dextroamphetamine are
methamphetamine.
central nervous system stimulants that affect chemicals in the brain and nerves that contribute to hyperactivity and impulse control.
Oh God.
That's funny as shit. Amphetamine is there. The word meth,
That's
not so much.
They mixed up the letters. Did you say methamphetamine? No, sir. I said.
But bro, you didn't, like back in the day, you didn't hear about people overdosing because the drugs were good. You knew how much you could do. Like back in the 70s when the Hells Angels were really moving crystal meth, that's where it started. The crystal meth was pure.
That's true.
Like you literally could do like the size of this little fucking coffee stain right here and be awake for a week. Like,
And relatively safe.
yeah, and they say you come down off of that shit and you don't crash. You come down and you're sleepy and you fall asleep. Nowadays, you crash and you crash hard.
And you wake up with 3 weed eaters.
Yeah. Well, no, you probably went to sleep with those weed eaters. You're like, I'm gonna go pawn these bitches tomorrow so I can get some more.
Oh, the list of medications at the end of every commercial. You know, I was watching.
It's the list of side effects, and why do
Yeah.
you say it so fast? Like, who the fuck talks like that?
Your eyes may bleed. You may shit yourself.
And you might kill yourself. You might shit yourself. You might go blind, and you might kill yourself.
But that corn on your foot.
I was just gonna say the same shit. I was gonna say bunion, but that bunion's gonna go away in 7 days. But you might fucking die. It's like if you want a good movie to watch, if you haven't watched it, go watch it on Netflix. It's called Power, I think it is. Dude, great movie. It's got Jamie Foxx in it. Great movie about a fucking drug, like the dude's daughter. So the Jamie Foxx is a CIA guy. Well, his blood tests a certain way for a certain drug, but it's not pure enough to turn into a drug. So Jamie Foxx has a daughter. The daughter comes out, her blood is full of this fucking drug. It's called Power. They found a way to make it into a pill. You take this pill, you don't know what's gonna happen. You might be invisible. You might get world powers. You might be a flaming inferno. You might be the fucking rubber guy. You might have.
Well, that's tricky.
You never know what superpower you're gonna get.
Take that shit in the field.
But you could also. Die. There is a chance. You never know what you're gonna get. You take that pill, you'll have superpowers for 5 minutes, or you'll die. So, and it's a great movie. Great movie. You gotta watch it. It's great because, dude, like, there are people that risk that shit. There are people that risk that shit just because they know that, like, bank robbers. Like, right before he walked into the bank, he took one. Then he became a flaming inferno. Not Jamie Foxx, the bad guy,
Yeah.
so to speak. Took the pill, turned into a flaming ball, like
Turned all
fireman
around, yeah.
or whatever. Yeah, not on fire, like superpower on fire. Like he used it to catch other shit on fire. Like he was
Oh shit!
Not burning to death, like burning good, like Johnny Blaze, Ghostface, like just shit on fire. I don't know how to explain it, but he had total control over it. And he went in and tried to rob a bank and kept burning all the fucking money.
Yeah.
But he didn't know what power he was gonna get before he went in to rob a bank. So, like that didn't quite work out. But it's a good movie if you want something kind of fun to watch. It's a pretty good movie.
I've been stuck on Narcos.
I've been watching a lot of that here lately.
I love Narcos. I've went through all the emotions with Pablo. I respected him, feared him, now I'm hating, now I'm scared of him again. But I respect him. like I said, they really nailed that in there. Like, you know what? You take the however you feel about the man, but you gotta add on the end. But I respect him.
Yeah. But and I'm a firm believer in earning respect. If you respect me, I'll respect you. But let me step outside of my civilized self for a minute. Do you know how much respect a bullet to the brain buys you? If you are a witness to an execution, you not only do you respect, you fear this motherfucker. And there's a certain level of respect that comes from fear. Period. The end. Just like you said, at the end of everybody that talks about this man, there's always a but. I respect. You know. He don't give a fuck about you. You fuck with that man's money, you're taking a bullet to the face.
You fuck with his family, he's going to take out your entire.
Or he would feed you to the rhinoceroses that he has in the backyard. Because the dude had a fucking zoo. When they captured him, he had hippos. And that's who he used to feed his fucking victims to. I guarantee it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? This motherfucker, there's a certain level of respect that kind of savagery buys. So fuck earning respect. Dude, I'm telling you.
Dude blows that bomb up near the Capitol and that guy's like, the guy calls him and he's like, I think we may have crossed the line. He was like, nah. I was like, dude. I'm really enjoying this show.
Hell yeah.
I'm just season 3, episode 1 is going to start when I turn on Netflix later. That's where I'm at, and no, this man is the guy playing Pablo Escobar is phenomenal. I don't know his name, but yeah, Narcos has been my shit lately.
Hell yeah. I don't get into shows like that very much. I've watched a few episodes of Narcos, but I haven't really gotten into shows. I like just movies that you can just get done in an hour and a half or 2 hours. And dude, I'll watch 2 or 3 seasons of something, and then I'll just lose interest, and I won't watch it again. And then you try to go back a few months later and finish it, it's just not the same.
Right.
So it's something, if you don't watch it from beginning to end, it's just kind of hard to stick with it.
Narcos is all in Spanish, and I'm about 75% toward just starting to understand it. Where I've been reading it for
reading it and hearing it.
Yeah, reading it and hearing it, Like, he said something the other day, and she said, "What'd he say?" I told her. I was like,
yeah, I understand that shit.
You speak Spanish? No. Watched 3 seasons of Narcos.
Hell yeah.
So, what else has went on this week? I know there's notable stuff.
Yeah, there was that possible link. There's an email with that Tim Pool link I shared with you this morning. There was an email that was found with communications from Hunter Biden and like Jim Biden and all of them addressing Joe Biden at the time about something to do with natural gas from Qatar and showing that Joe Biden actually not only knew about Hunter Biden's doings, but participated in them.
Oh yeah. I don't know if the phone call has been verified or not. But the other night there was a phone call that came across like a TikTok video. Now, mind you, TikTok I take for granted. I take it with a grain of salt. I know China owns that. So, if anybody's going to feed us misinformation, it's going to be China. But
with that being said, TikTok is no different than any other
no,
social media
no different
platform.
at all.
It doesn't matter who it's owned by. If you are looking for certain content, you're going to find it on TikTok.
Oh yeah.
So, if me scrolling through funny videos and shit is giving information to the Chinese, then they can have my stupid shit. Because there is nothing that they're learning from me except I like watching stupid fucking videos.
It's the
I don't watch
permissions through the
anything-
rest of your phone. That's what bothers me. That's what bothers me about Facebook.
Yeah, but I don't
Like, I mean, look,
It's
if I
not
want to
like-
look up something that's real deep conspiracy theory,
well, you don't use a phone.
I
first.
use DuckDuckGo on my VPN.
I do too. Your laptop should have a VPN built in.
It does, but I don't even use that. I use my phone.
I use
That's
my
a
VPN a lot.
cheap Walmart phone. I'm not worried about it.
Yep.
Dude, I don't do anything sketchy on my computer.
Me either. Not at all. I mean,
It's already getting slow. I need to get on there and take some shit off and clean it up.
yep.
But no. No, I try to do.
Yeah, like, if you're a very left-leaning liberal, like blue hair, like super left, yeah, I'm researching some super illegal shit 99% of the day. That's all I do. Look up on Google like how to kill liberals and how to dispose of liberal bodies, and yeah, that's what I do. But if you're like the rest of us Americans that reside kind of somewhere around the center line, you know what I'm saying?
Yesterday I looked up a recipe for Carolina style barbecue.
Right. Right. Dude, as a matter of fact, I think I got a recipe on here for my beef jerky that I can pull up right now. Like it's quick. So if that's me giving information to the Chinese government, well, I've been giving it to Facebook a lot longer. So maybe China can do something with it. Anything that makes my life a little bit easier, I'm gonna keep doing.
I'm kind of getting to where I'm ready to give a couple inches on a couple things, but man, I'm telling you, they are quickly heading into some creepy 1984 shit with us.
Yeah. Oh, that's speaking of which, I didn't grab that book last time.
No, I give it to you. They are creeping into some surefire 1984 shit with us right now.
Yeah, dude. Like it's coming to the point where
Did you see
I don't
what
know
happened?
if you can use civil war or revolution, but it's coming to the point where whether it's people against the government or rich versus poor or black versus white, I don't know what it's going to be, but there is some shit brewing. And our government is just stirring the pot, bro. Like, they keep everybody so aggravated and so on edge.
I know you don't care
I don't
about.
want to be involved in that shit.
I know you don't care about Davos. I know you don't. I know the World Economic Forum in no manner interests you.
No, I mean it does.
But
It should
let me-
because they're unelected and they're
Let me
making
throw out
laws that are.
Let me throw out some weirder facts than fiction this year. It's not about what they talked about. It's the fact that if you watch the World Economic Forum last year, year before that, year before that, year before that, they were talking openly, and you can look up the videos on YouTube, some diabolical shit. What do you call it? Population control and all this crazy, banking control and all this really crazy shit, right? Now the plan was, honestly, if you go back about a decade on YouTube and listen to old Davos speeches, 2021, 2022 was the goal, but we've surpassed that goal. And they said last year if you didn't hear anything about it, they said that last year, well, what's his name? Was it Rothschild? Not Rothschild.
One of the Richie Riches.
No, it was
Soros.
no, not Soros.
No, you got
Rothschild. It was Rothschild. Said that this needed to be sped up. Okay, well, whatever. Well, we got what happened. WEF happened this year, right? All these new world members of WEF, all these new people that just got their way in, just bought their way in, probably a lot of them out of fear. I hear what y'all are talking about. I'd rather be with you than against you. Mm-hmm. Everybody went to Switzerland for the Davos. What happened? George Soros, Rothschild, all the big giant names, the big five, canceled their speeches, decided they ain't coming. And then suddenly, all the interesting, well, first, a lot of journalists showed up this year. A lot of, like, outside, like, low-key journalists.
Yeah,
like
independent that are probably going to report the truth.
Yeah. And they're, like, harassing, like, the reporters that are there from Fox that are standing there shaking hands and talking to the WEF members, and, they start questioning them, and they start getting very uncomfortable with the fact they're being questioned. They don't like the independent journalists there, so all of a sudden, George Soros and all these big names cancel the trip. And then all of a sudden it turns into a big, like, prostitute fest. Like, all the hookers roll into town. And upon interviewing one hooker told a independent journalist that she charges like $1,300 an hour. But that's normally she charges like this like minuscule, like, like, I'm a hooker, Then she's like, but here we can charge like $1,300 an hour. Some of you probably don't leave. There's probably some ghost stories there.
Right.
But it's like it's weird. They just kind of canceled Davos, turned it into a drunken orgy, and was like, you know what, we're not gonna do this year.
Right. Well, when you think about population control, who's the easiest? The easiest
the drug
demographic to know. The easiest, the weakest member of your society, and the most expensive members of your society are your elderly. Coronavirus killed millions of old people, bro. Mm-hmm. Like, if there's any population control talking, they've already accomplished
there's
that.
Accusations,
and we're talking everywhere. China, India, fucking like everywhere. Killed old people. So, like,
there's accusations that certain new modern drugs are affecting the birth rates of our new children.
That doesn't surprise me, but also there's a bunch of kids out there that aren't going to have kids because they're like, this world is too fucked up. Why would you bring children into this society? You know what I mean? And
the abortion numbers.
Yeah, they've dramatically dropped.
Well, they've dramatically dropped, but they were really high there for a while.
Well, yeah, because they're fucking.
I'm just saying that counts for population rate. It just counts toward population rate. It doesn't. I'm not giving a moral judgment on it, or even having a discussion about legals. I'm just saying it counts toward the population rate.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, while Americans right now are having an average of like. And it used to be 3.5. When we were younger, the average on this was 3.5 children per household. Now we're at an average of 1.2 or something like that children per household. That's our average children as
households.
Americans.
Yeah.
So on average, maybe we're having 2 kids. Nobody's having 3 anymore. The ones that do, the ones that are having 3 are a rare occurrence.
Shit, my daughter has 4.
I'm just saying.
She's a unicorn. They ain't doing that no more.
We're just,
and she's 28.
Yeah,
She's a young kid having multiple kids. But none of her friends are doing that.
yeah, we're not having kids at the rate that we used to on the family level. But the cultures we are immigrating into our country, oh baby boy, they have 8 at a time.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
They have 8, 9 kids on
And
average.
the problem with that is that your population is being more populated by the lower income class. You know what I
Not
mean?
necessarily.
Your higher income levels aren't having kids at the same rate.
People don't live like we do, and I mean that in the utmost intelligent manner that I could ever say that, because when I heard how these guys and families live, I was absolutely just jaw dropped. Why don't Americans live like this? Well, it's because we're sold the banking system. But let me tell you. So, mom has 8 kids. Those 8 kids will get together with themselves, maybe all of them, maybe half of them, whatever, usually all of them, will go in and buy a house. And I mean like a mansion. There's 8 of them. So let's go buy a mansion with 8 apartments in it, a big mansion. Now, the payment on this mansion is going to be about $6,000 a month.
But between 8 of y'all, that ain't shit.
Between 8 of us, that ain't shit.
It's like $700 a month, and you're
Yeah.
living in a mansion.
And you're living in a mansion.
You got to tolerate your brother.
Wait. You get married, your wife moves in. You get married, your wife moves in. But these people live polygamy. So he has 2 wives, he has 2 wives. They move in. The wives support the family unit. They raise the kids. They cook the meals. This is what they believe their job is in life. This is just their culture. They're not like American women. They don't believe in all this. We want to be equal. They realize that as females, they play a particular role in society, and it's as important as the men, because without them doing what they do, the men can't go out and do what they do. So they take care of the family unit. The men go out
and make the money.
And make money, and they got businesses. They'll buy a car. They'll buy a really fucking fancy car. They kind of have to share it until they can afford to get another car. But there's 8 of them, and they stay together as a family unit. They build the family unit with their wives, and as their income grows, they go off to buy their own homes.
Right, but this doesn't happen as often as you think it does.
Actually, it's actually kind of
not,
how.
Like,
No, that's how they live off of generational wealth. This is how they do it in Middle Eastern countries.
Oh yeah.
When they migrate here from Lebanon, and you see them dressed in all their bling, and you're like, how do they live so good? It's because they came here as a family. They live as a family.
But it's a mindset also.
Yes.
Because there's a dude I follow on YouTube, and he's a super smart financial dude. He's fucking Indian and wears a hijab and the whole 9. You know what I mean? And he talks about a lot of this shit as a youngster living in like a 4-bedroom apartment, and there was 12 motherfuckers in there. Like, he talks about this shit. But he also says you take 100% of your pay and you pay all your bills off of 20%. And the other 80% you save and invest. That's how you become generational wealthy. You will never reap the rewards of doing this. Your following generations will. Because that's how you build generational wealth. And I'm like, bro, I get paid on a Monday and I'm near broke on Tuesday. How the fuck do you pay all your bills with 20% of your income? How the fuck do you teach yourself to live like that? So far below your means that you can afford to invest 80% of your paycheck. That kind of mindset
You-
only comes from living with 13 fucking people. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, that's the kind of mindset you're like, I don't want to live here these motherfuckers too much longer. So let me figure out a way to save and invest as much as I fucking can. And that's the way you fucking do it. You eat fucking ramen and wipe your ass with one ply for 5 fucking years, and then you're rich. Apparently, that's how it fucking works. Fuck that. Give me the good fucking bacon. I'm fucking spending my money now.
I can see me going to the bank and realizing I'm rich and having a heart attack right there, never touching a dime of it.
Right. It's like I got a friend. Her sister was in Florida many years ago. Got into a bad car wreck. Got hundreds of millions. But she was paralyzed from like the chest down. She had to have lifelong care. You know, the settlement was huge. Well, that girl's sister just passed away like a year or so ago. My friend got a fucking phone call from a lawyer stating that the sister had a fucking $2 million life insurance policy, and she and her brother were the sole benefactors. So now my friend is, on paper, she's like an instant millionaire. You know, she got $1 million life insurance policy that's going to be paid out over the next 10 years. The exact numbers is crazy. It's like $10,000 a month for the next 10 years or some shit like that. But you know, that kind of that kind of influx of money, when with the same broke mindset, is dangerous. You know what I mean? Like you say, like you wake up tomorrow morning and you're a fucking lottery winner, but you're used to it. You're used to it. You're not. I don't give a fuck if I'm broke on payday. My bills are paid. All I need is a full tank of gas and a bag of weed and some groceries in the house. I don't need shit. You're used to being broke.
Right.
But then you all of a sudden aren't anymore. Ever. That's a huge fucking mindset shift. And a lot of people can't handle it.
No.
I'm kind of concerned for my friend is how she can function with that. Because, you know, she's a good friend, but she's already got some like annoying kind of tendencies about her. But I know I do. I know you do. You know, we all have annoying tendencies about us, but when we're friends for long enough, you just overlook that shit, and I don't even notice.
Can't
some of the
promise
things.
you I would be a good person if I was dumped a bunch of money upon.
Me either. But there's a reason why the universe told me from the very beginning that you're not going to be a cop. I'm not going to put you in a position of power because you're going to be a corrupt motherfucker.
I say all the time, my moral line draws at $500,000.
My moral line is,
you know what I mean?
I don't know where it is.
Don't ever tell me that there's $1 million in a hotel room somewhere in a suitcase. Don't ever tell me that, because I mean,
Dude,
I can't promise. Like, I don't want to know those kinds of things.
The Facebook scenarios that you see, like, would you live here with no internet? It's like a beautiful fucking house in the middle of the woods. I'm like, are you fucking stupid? You know what? That's just the ultimate scenario. That goes back to the age-old question, like, if someone gave you $100 million, would you suck his dick, bro? You know, I might have to think about it.
I'd be on top of my yacht and go, what'd you do for your money?
That'd probably be the
Us.
right. I tell you that shit.
I named my boat. I sucked her. $100 million. Shit. Sorry, man.
For $100 million, I might actually have to take my teeth out.
Yeah,
I just have to give you the fucking. I just have to give you the goods, bro.
$100 million.
Shit, I need to see the money. Don't fuck with me, because I'll kill you.
Gay for a day.
Dude, the funny joke
The,
back
the
then was
dude
like,
that came up to me, remember the dude that came up to me, was it Celsius? I was on the grill and dude come up to me and said, "Are you gay?" And I was like, "No." Dude walked straight behind the bar to my ear while I'm running the grill. And he goes, "Are you gay?" Kind of startled, like, what gave you that? Why would you ask me that? Like, did I do something? Like,
can you start with hi? That's how normal people start.
I mean, it could be worse. He could have handed me a beer first and then been like, "So are you gay?" But anyway, he's like, "Are you gay?" And I'm like, "No."
You mean happy gay? Or?
And he goes, "Well, that's too bad because you could have a new truck with a boat next week." And I was like,
hold on.
"Yes," I said, "Dude,
I mean,
you never made it sound so tempting before." he started laughing and walked off.
Right.
But I mean, like,
shit. Bro, I'm telling you, if Kamala Harris can suck her way to the top, there ain't no reason why I can't. I always said if there was a market for 40-year-old fat dudes, I'd have an OnlyFans. Fuck this job.
Nah, dude.
I would pose naked as fuck for y'all. Like,
I'm gonna start doing videos of
shit.
me just in my boxers doing dishes and asking, "So how was your day?"
Hell yeah, just leave it open ended so they can
Was-
just
was-
respond however they want.
Yeah,
while you're
they'll
doing dishes in your
they'll write
boxers.
some shit, and I'll be like, "Did they get the copier fixed?"
Hell yeah. Dude, I'm just waiting for my opportunity. If I feel like if I wait long enough, that somebody somewhere, there's a rich, beautiful woman who just wants nothing to do with housework and just wants some house dude. That's me. Holla. This will be the cleanest fucking house you ever had.
Nope. See, I'm starting to get into get rich quick schemes.
Oh, yeah,
We'll talk about that.
I'm sure you'll get an email any minute from the somewhere. Like, you know, those Nigerian princes, they don't come around every day.
You know? You know?
I need someone to help me spend my money because I'm stupid and don't know how to do this.
I've worked with a guy at a, well, you know what? Let's not get in too deep. But I worked with a guy somewhere who was royalty from an African country. Really cool guy. Really thick accent. Doesn't want anything to do with the family money. Real Prince Harry about some shit. Like, I don't really understand. But he went home occasionally and, you know, and I mean, a pretty well-known African country. Like, when he told me the country, I was like, "Your dad's the what of what?" And you're doing this and
Yeah, bro.
so anyway, you know, I forgot where I was going with, but yeah, no, like he wants nothing to do with any of the shit back home.
Yeah, bro. Like forgive the details because they're really sketchy. But my daughter's husband, my son-in-law, his younger brother is married to a girl that he met while working at Krispy Kreme in South Charleston. They met, like, when he started working at Krispy Kreme, he was like 15, she was like 14, you know, young love. They made it all the way through high school. You know, he meets the family, but he can't meet the family. You know, every time he talks to the family, it's over Zoom or Skype or whatever it is.
Right.
Finally, he realizes he meets the family. This dude lands at fucking Yeager Airport in a private plane. Gets off the fucking plane, and these fucking like guards and shit walk off the plane first, like 5 or 6 of them in Yeager Airport. Like, he's got pictures of this shit. This dude is the king of an African nation.
Probably family
And has sent his fucking daughter here for an education. And she fell in fucking love with some West Virginia black dude from Dunbar. You know what I mean? But she knows that she's royalty and that unless she produces a male heir, that she's going to take over this kingdom one of these days. But she wants, nothing to do with the money aspect of it. She wants to live her own life and build her own life. That's why she got the job at Krispy Kreme. You know what I mean? She doesn't want that lifestyle.
Right.
But at the end of the day, she's royalty. My son-in-law's brother married into royalty. I'm like, what the fuck?
But old
Dude, it
dude's
was
so
unreal.
cool. Old dude's so cool. I love talking to him. He's so laid back.
Sometimes the people. That's why it's important to treat everybody with a certain level of decency and respect. You just don't know who you're talking to, man.
No.
You remember the story about the lawyer that turned homeless? I mean, he died, but
Aqualung?
yeah. You remember this story? The whole reason he was homeless is because he lost a fucking case where some kids died and he couldn't live with himself and he quit and left everything and became homeless.
You know,
But if you had any kind of conversations with this motherfucker, he was smart as shit. Pushing his fucking buggy with his long beard and super smart.
Do you remember, I'm sure you're going to tell me you know this story before we get through it. Do you remember the dude that wore the women's clothing that used to hang out in the alley beside Cafe de Paris? Do you know the story of him?
No. I mean, yes, I've heard the story, but no, I can't tell you.
Okay, so...
But he was famous.
After he died... he was super famous.
Yeah.
After he died, some representatives from Rolling Stone magazine actually came into Cafe de Paris and asked me if I'd ever seen him. And I was like, yeah, I used to feed him fillets and shit. Like, I did. You remember that day?
Yeah, we used to feed him all the
I
time.
used to feed that dude some fancy goodness. But he, you want some carpaccio?
I don't know what that shit is, but delicious.
Yeah, he did. Because he was from high class LA.
I didn't know what none of that shit was, and I was like, that shit was
He
delicious.
produced songs for Charles Manson, the Beatles. I want to say like Eric Clapton was on the list.
Wow.
There was several other like the Rolling Stones. He produced songs for these people, like all these big names. And then one day, he just vanished. He was gone. Nobody ever seen him again.
There was a story. How true it is, I don't know. I can't tell you that. But there was a story that after it was all said and done, there was $100,000 donation made from his estate to Taylor Books, the little bookstore downtown Charleston, because that bookstore always took care of him, and you know what I mean. They had like a little shed in the back that he would sleep in sometimes, and you know what I mean. Like they took care of him, and all that niceness paid off. So he wasn't. Whatever happened to that guy, he wasn't out of his mind. He had the wherewithal and the clarity to go back and add Taylor Books into his estate. So he wasn't out of his mind, regardless of what it was. The cross-dressing and the homelessness was just a way of hiding from something.
And talking to himself.
And that's the
like
story
he
that
would just
I was-
talk to himself, man. He would just, yeah, but you're right.
Right. So he had the clarity to go back and change whatever.
I mean, I've been in a fight before and I just started talking to myself. Like, and it fucks with people.
Yeah.
Like, fucking with somebody is the first thing you do when you're
Oh, dude, mental game is way stronger.
Yeah.
When you get punched in the shit, you get punched right in the shit and start laughing at someone, that dude is probably going to run and hide. Because laughing is not the response that you get from pain. And it's not what you expect. When you're in a fight, you don't expect that shit.
No.
That would literally fuck with someone's brain. To get the laugh.
That's how I react to
Like, once I get mad, I stop feeling pain. Like,
Yeah.
the responses I give in a fight are probably comedic.
Yeah.
Because, dude, once I lose my temper, it's on. I'm borderline blackout.
That was a good one.
Yeah, I'm
You
borderline
another one
blackout.
of those?
So,
If you take the first punch with a smile, yeah, you've usually broken their hopes and dreams.
yeah, and that's where it starts.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? There's a reason why us as men, we talk shit. And we talk shit to get someone out of their mental game. Because if we ever need to physically confront someone, we know.
Right.
You know, we know what their weaknesses are because we've been talking shit to them for days or weeks or however long. You know what I mean?
Right. Well, man, we've been at this today.
Yeah, it was. And the best part about it was is you didn't have one fucking note. Like we just winged it today. Pretty decent.
And I got to figure they're pretty upset with this thing. I'll
yeah,
figure
once
it
you
out.
figure it out, it's gonna be seamless.
I don't want to start hitting random buttons while
I think
I'm
it might
on
start
stream.
with you getting a mouse because you can double click and do all that. It's easier. I got one. It's in my book bag. I keep forgetting to bring it though. So I'll bring it next week. But yeah, man, we've been at this a couple hours. So about to go pick up my daughter from school and go home and watch it snow for the rest of the day.
Yeah, man. Well,
I'm doing shit.
we'll see you next.
So-
Now, we on the schedule next Monday? We doing something different this week? What's the plan?
I mean, as of right now, I'm still off on Mondays and Tuesdays. So let's stick with the plan that we got, you know.
All right.
And we'll go from there.
See what kind of juicy stuff happens this week.
Yep. Christy, thanks for tuning in again, our sole follower.
Yes, we
Yeah.
love you.
Appreciate you watching us
Bunch of-
ramble about a bunch of fucking idiots. So,
Want you to do me a
thanks.
favor. Want you to tell all your friends about me.
she retweets a lot of stuff, and like she definitely does the sharing thing. I don't have a social media presence to share with anybody.
Hey, make some clips.
That's what we need to do.
Yeah.
Make a few clips of today's podcast and just post to get our middle of the road TikTok going, and just start posting
That's
little
what we
2-minute
need to
clips. Something to work on in the future.
TikTok comes up on Facebook more than Facebook.
Yeah. So
You handle the TikTok aspect.
all right, I'll set up.
I got to get you set up on the YouTube. Actually, you know what?
Something you could probably work on here later.
We may be
Adding
starting
into
a new
authorizing
YouTube
it.
account.
Yeah, and if we do, we'll share the new link with you because we both have you on our Twitter feed now. On our
YouTube
Twitter.
account.
So we'll figure out all those details and we'll let everybody know for sure. Yeah, I'm gonna
But-
go get my daughter.
We'll announce. I spelled announce wrong.
Yeah, you did.
Announce.
And you spelled YouTube wrong because it's got to be capitalized. Don't you hate that shit?
ANOUN.
No, 2 N's. ANNOUNCE.
I swear. Oh, that cursor's in the way. That's what we're doing.
Yep.
I'm gonna clean out my computer day today.
Heck yeah.
Oh, yep. All right, everybody. We'll see you next
See you
week.
next week. Thanks, Christy. See ya.
See you guys.